Alright, this is going to be a pretty short video about topic 7 from the Algebra 2 CFE review. So we're looking at questions 19 and 20, which are all about transformations of graphs. Now we've gone over transformations several times this school year, so it should come as old news. We want to go ahead and describe how this function is going to be transformed from its parent function, which is x squared. So we're looking at all the different ways that this is changed from x squared. Remember the formula we're comparing this to is a times x minus h, that's a horizontal shift, plus k, that's a vertical shift, and that a value up front is either a stretch or a compression. Now the first thing I notice in this transformed equation is this minus sign out front. That means that we have reflected over the x-axis. It's flipped us upside down. There we go, reflect over the x. Then I see the number 1/2 out front. That 1/2 is my a value, and remember that means a stretch or a compression. Now this graph is 1/2 the height it usually is. That's called a compression. It has been squashed up and down. So this compresses. Remember, we can find a compression if we multiply by a fraction. So compress by 1/2. Then I can see inside the parentheses I have this plus 6. That's my h value, but remember when it's inside the parentheses, the sign should be negative. So if it's being subtracted, that moves to the right, but this is being added. So because we're adding, we think of our positive influence, Miss Beyonce, who moves things to the left, So we go to the left 6 units. And last but not least, we have this plus k over here. The plus k is our vertical shift, which is plus 3. And this one is exactly what we think. Plus 3 means up 3. Those transformations are all described. Let's go ahead and take a look at question 20. Now we have to describe how this graph is affected when this function, x plus 3 inside a radical, is transformed into the square root of x plus 3, with the plus 3 outside the radical. So I want to figure out how the second function is different from the first one. We're not going from the parent function anymore, we're comparing it to this original over here. This is the original. So in the original I have a plus 3 inside the radical. This one does not have a plus 3 inside the radical. So to make that plus 3 from the radical disappear, I must have subtracted 3 inside the radical with x. So that means that whatever I had inside the parentheses, inside the radical, I did a minus 3. And if there was a minus 3 inside the parentheses, remember that moves us to the right. That's opposite of what we might think at first. So we've gone to the right 3 spaces. Now this guy also has a plus 3 outside of the radical, and this one had nothing outside of the radical. So I have added 3 on the outside of the equation. If we add 3 on the outside of the equation, that's a k value. So that moves us up or down. So this is a positive 3, so we've gone up 3. And that's it. Everything else about the functions is the same. Both of them have that square root symbol. Neither one of them have anything out in front. So we're done. We've gone to the right 3. Yep, right 3 and up 3. Awesome. We're going to pick up with inverse functions in the next video.